try!
Check you've had a night to sleep on it. What's the overwhelming emotion or take?
I think it's pretty much the same as it usually is what we see after the game. You know, we just like that little bit of urgency to be at the front of things. So, you know, maybe when we carried ball for our rucks, to be a bit more urgent there to get the flow of the game going, a bit more in attack, get them on the back foot. And I just, you know, that little bit of extra speed in the game to take it beyond, because there was a lot of opportunities that we didn't finish, you know, and we should have had maybe another player or two there, or just that little bit of extra urgency that goes with lifting the pace of the game, you know.
How do you go about coaching to have more urgency?
Oh, well, I think it's just about putting the things into perspective for the game. I don't really think it's something you can coach, you know what I mean? It's about getting the player's mindset right, understanding what's important. Like, there's a lot of things that you got to work on, like that we've got to work on, right, in building up towards the season. But you can't do them all at one time. So you knock out what is the priority, and the priority is about, you know, getting ourselves set early, getting to things first, right? Getting another one when you're on the ground, getting back up and getting another one, just those things. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with our footy. There's a lot we can improve, definitely. But I think if you look at the game in detail, that would have been the telling factor in why we didn't win the game by probably 2 or 3 scores.
How's the group been today? Is it a bit flat?
Oh, well, of course you're disappointed losing. You know, I think the other thing was too, it was disappointing for me. There was a huge moment where, you know, the crowd all got up out of their seats, willing us home, and we've got to take that. That's not something that's been happening in rugby over this, you know, last few months, and we've got to use that to will ourselves over the line sometimes. And we weren't able to do that yesterday, and I think players are feeling that moment a little bit, you know, that the crowd were right behind them. You know, and we thank the Sydney crowd for that. They were excellent. And we've got to learn that when that happens and those opportunities come, even if you haven't had a great game and you're still behind, but you've got the chance to win it, you've got to use those opportunities.
Check, there were some, you signalled after the game yesterday that changes would be made. Were there particular guys who came on that you thought had a really good impact?
I thought that the finishing team did much better than they did in the Fiji game. But as for who's going to come in and who's going to go out, we'll save that maybe for tomorrow and have a look-see after we do a bit more in-depth review and make some changes that we think will help the team get the thing that we wanted to get, which is a little bit more urgency around the paddock.
It's quite mesmerising seeing 7 points for a kick to touch and getting a line-out drive, and I suppose everyone thinks it's a 100% success rate to get a 7-pointer off a line-out drive, but not taking a shot at penalty goal with a good number of minutes on the clock. That was an error made against England last year, repeated last night or yesterday. Do you feel that's an area that has to be spelled out a bit more clearly?
No, mate. I think that part of getting our players away from or growing their own decision-making ability is the chance to make those ones and feel the momentum. Feel the momentum of the game. And Michael felt that was the right choice at that time. And, everyone can be genius in hindsight. You know what I mean? And there'll always be the choice of even in the box you say, oh yeah, take the shot or take the kick for line, you get split. So depending on the momentum of the game, and I think one thing on that one, mate, is that when we make those decisions, everyone that's on the field needs to be totally fixated on the process that'll get us the outcome, for backing the captain there to make that decision. Excuse me, and having that faith in his forwards to go down there and get it done. I think when we take that step forward, we'll be able to compete at a high level.
I mean, Scotland were the team that were in the top 4 or 5 in the world in this block of matches. What can you get out of a game against Italy, who've probably been somewhat disappointing in their tour games?
Mate, I don't think it's got anything to do with, the Italians will be difficult to play against, no doubt. This is about us, like the whole series, like all games are, I don't think we're at the level yet where we can start, plotting the downfall of oppositions in a certain way. We've got to get our game up to scratch. Mainly, I wouldn't be painting doom here, I think just more about the things we spoke about earlier on, about getting being really clear on your role and getting the urgency in that. Once we start those things, the rest will fall into place.
Have you seen a catch like Izzy's catch on the wing? There,
He
you look
did
at
very
it
well.
on replay, it looks like you see him get up in the air, and it looks like on the replay he's almost another foot above.
Yeah, I've seen him jump pretty high. He can go pretty high. I've seen it in both league and union. So, you know, it's obviously something that we're trying to use a little bit more of. There's always that decision of, do you want to keep the ball in your hand or do you want to, you know, send it over there? But he's definitely going to catch more of those than he's not. So, you know, we'd be mad not to use more of that tactic.
It's something that obviously you guys have been doing a lot of in this June, or working on during this June series. Are you happy with how it's all coming along, that particular tactic?
Oh, like I said last night, I don't have to do any genius coaching there. You just get a guy to stand on the sideline. He's a great catcher and you kick it to him, you know. So I don't think let's not get carried away with the tactics there, you know what I mean? I think the things in the game that are important are back to the very initial discussion we spoke, and the priorities, which are about the urgency around our work, and then the energy that goes into that, and then we'll create a lot more opportunity, or finish a lot more opportunities perhaps than we did last night or yesterday.
There's a split here between a lot of your wingers. Is there a lust for you to get maybe another guy exposed this weekend? Marika or Sefa, now that he's back in.
Yeah, they've been training well. You know, Sef it was very close last week as to who he chose. I think we decided to go to reward someone who's had the form for the season. I think Sefa in particular has been, you know, he's got he's getting back to his top speed, and he's had a bit of an injury-riddled season, so he's had a few weeks to really get back on board. So I'll have a look at it over the first couple of days of training and see where we go.
Hannigan's, he just picks himself up and just keeps on going. Like, he's got an amazing engine, I suppose.
Who's that?
Hannigan.
Yes, he's done really well, I think, the first two games.
Doesn't seem daunted in any way.
No, his work rate's been excellent, you know what I mean? And I think his attitude towards his work is, you know, for his first two games in Test 40 is exactly what, you know, we should be targeting as a whole pack, you know what I mean, all the time, that type of intent.
Is there a case of workload as well? Like he's had two pretty big tests.
No, I think it's about what we have got to learn to work at a higher, harder level. If we want to compete with the top teams, that's all we've got to do. We've got to be able to get the mental switch that says, yeah, this is tough, I'm going to go on with the job here. Not look to work at a level down, because, you know, get that mentality in our heads where, yeah, we can do it in all situations, because, you know, that's what, when we go back to urgency, that and getting to those plays first, that's what that is, you know what I mean? Turning that switch on in your head that says, I'm going to be there.
Carmichael was one of the standouts in that first match, and what was your take on his performance yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he had another good game. I thought defensively in particular he stuck a lot more, and he was, you know, very aggressive in the midfield. He's learning a bit more about the role where he has to distribute, so, you know, he's getting a handle on that a little bit more. But no, I think his first two games have been top class, you know what I mean?
His head, how's it travelling? He's had a few head knocks over his career. You'd say a lot of them.
Doc tells me he's come, you know, today, first day out of failing the HIA. Obviously, he was pretty happy with that. So with his return today, so we'll see. He'll go through the protocol for the week, and we'll see how he travels with that.
Any other niggles?
No, so far everyone's all good.
Henry Spade will be right for this weekend.
That was from last week. Yes, that would have been the plan, but he'll start his testing tomorrow as soon as we get on the field.